E- Oh my god! It's okay. Yeah, yeah. You're broken. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like on stream, I'm coming out pretty fine, but like your mic is. How do I describe it?
Alvin!
It is Alvin and it's right there. Yeah, it's doing that. It's. I don't know if you can hear yourself.
He was broken on this
Okay, let me see if I can record this.
He was
Ja-
broken on this
Look, okay, let me see if
I
I
really
can
don't know what
record
you're trying to
this.
say, honestly.
Ja- yeah, like it.
Saying, 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 honestly.
No. Like, I, I think that it's like a problem with like your microphone connection or like an audio input connection. Like I'm not an expert in this computer stuff. That might be like a Tyler thing, honestly.
Oh no, this is. I'm subcontracting to Mason.
So contract. Okay, where's Mason?
Mason online? No, he's not. Fuck.
Who's good at this? Who's good at this? And a horseman. Simon's pretty much dead. Huh?
Come on.
Come on, yeah, that's a pretty good one. Uh. Oh, there we go.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay, he's not Alvin anymore.
Yeah, you are like you sound better. Like it's like we can understand you, we can hear you clear. It's just you sound kind of far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, just yeah. All right.
Okay.
No, there's a bit of a lag, so I'm gonna wait. Um. Yeah, you do.
You still kind of sound like a
You do.
chipmunk on the stream.
Yeah, on stream you still sound pretty bad. But okay.
You-
Chat.
Jada, are you hearing this?
If I click on the stream, I will.
Ellis is pretty sus. He's been an imposter this whole time. We've had
What
a
the hell? I
chipmunk
can't
in our
open
midst.
links from Discord. Or, yeah, that's whack.
I guess this is so sad. There we go.
Yeah, now I sound good on the stream.
Just make sure it works. Like, yeah, good.
Okay.
You're good.
I don't know why it's doing that, and I don't actually know which microphone it's using. I am hoping I'm quiet. Okay. Hold on. I can boost it higher. I can do that.
They're 50
Let's
of
go.
All
him.
the way up.
What the fuck is going on?
Dude, your computer is just all kinds of jank.
The computer is way louder than I am. That's half the problem. Change Change system sounds. Oh, you know why? Because this usually has some gain on it. Give me a second. Oh, no, it does actually have a lot of boost. Oh, like that. Do that. No. I used to always keep it on 100. That looks like it's okay now, but I don't know.
I'll
We can hear
take a
you very
look.
faintly on YouTube. Hmm.
It's better, yeah. It's like almost back to normal.
Almost
It's
back
like
to normal.
slightly noticeable that it's different, but it's good. It's workable.
Huh. Well, I mean, I want it to be at least as good as it was.
I mean, you can
Oh,
do it
shit.
just fine, no problem.
Okay.
It's
I
not
don't
like
know
an
which
impediment.
microphone I'm using still, and I hope I'm using the one I think I'm using. 10 minutes of Alvin almost.
Just like vigorously like rub one and see
Hold
if
on.
it comes through.
Do you hear rubbing?
Phrasing. No.
No. Does the stream hear rubbing? That's my other question. Let me just throw all the gain on this mic. Nothing's coming through. No rubbing on the stream. I boosted the gain as high as it will go on this microphone. There's someone mowing the lawn outside now. Thanks. Test. Okay, that looks better. Down here on OBS, that looks better.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Hey, it's good. Okay. All right, cool. So without further ado, thank you guys for sitting through this catastrophe. We've already burned 10 minutes. I was supposed to have to leave by 8 o'clock, but oh well. Thank you, Gene Dater. Blah, 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 blah. Thank you, the three is Dean, Jader, and Tyler. Thank you. Okay. And I'll see you guys after the stream. So, we did it, boys. We solved we beat tech support, or I don't know. Now we have some screenshots. Starting with, and someone's going to have to timestamp when this actually starts. Starting with numero uno. The individual responses. Number 1 is called Climb to Power. So, Climb to Power. Where is it? Rise to Power. Wait, which? Climb to Power, Rise to Power. Well, that's a strike. For those who don't know how this competition works and how things are judged, I'd recommend going back and watching a previous one because now we're short on time. But hey, I recognize this map. So, for crying out loud. Climb to Power. This is a pretty shot. I really like the environmental effects. I don't like the way I can see through the frames and stuff, but I know that's, like, there's nothing that can be done about that. That's more or less a real thing. You just don't typically get to see locomotives at this angle. But, yeah, I really do. I mean, it's a strong starter. I'll say that much. It doesn't pop so much, but it's very pretty. I wish the smoke trails were longer. That's the only thing. Of course, that can't be done in trains. But, yeah, so this is RJ Canyon. I think there's more to the map here. I think the render distance has been turned down. Or either that or this is looking out towards the swamp, actually. I think it is looking out towards the swamp. I have yet to see if the trains will, like, all my saves have kept from one computer to the next. Oh well. So that is it, a Rise to Power. We'll keep this open to look at while we go through this. Submission title. Let's go over here. Submission title is The Climb to Power. So yeah, they are going uphill. This is by Mr. Bacon, Trainman05. Like I said, I can really only spend 5 or 10 minutes or so on each, which is kind of a shame, but oh, that works now. That's cool. Thanks, Windows 10. Late in the evening, Volga Mountains Railroad Company hotshot through freight number 80, pulls over RJ Canyon at a blistering 25 miles per hour. Normally, the 80 goes faster than this, with the older but reliable and fast 4000 class 482 on the head, but in this section of the line a steep climb is present. Until recently, a duo set of 120 class 280s were used as helpers, but the brand new 2000 class 2882 Malays have taken that position from the aging consolidations. Despite the raw power of the new acquisitions, the diesel locomotive is looming near. The VMR has begun the gradual switch to diesel power and has bought quite a number of them to use. That, coupled with the new interstate highway running through the peninsula, spells disaster to an era. Until that fateful day, however, the climb to power is still illustrated well in the waning evening light. See, I would have thought this was morning, but let's drop this in. I would have thought this was morning by the way the fog is settling, but evening works as well, and this is the north side of the peninsula. It's not like the shadows would give us much of anything, but either way, very pretty, very nice, very like, I like the duality of the evening, where it's the evening of the day and also the evening of steam railroading, which I'm sure you didn't mean. I'm kind of English teachering that, but you know, a good as far as impact, like I said, it's a very, very pretty shot. It doesn't really jump out at me. Maybe if it was a little bit, maybe if the red sky was a little bit more present, maybe that would give it away more that it's evening. But though it's very muted, and I kind of wish I could see more of the sky under the bridge. There's just not a lot of silhouette going on that's surrounded by light, and that's kind of, that's kind of why it's not popping as much. That said, I think it's a pretty screenshot. I think I'm gonna give it a 6. Maybe that's not being nice, but sometimes I'm too generous, so we're swinging in the other direction perhaps today. Creativity. Oh well, sorry. I really had to learn environmental settings for this one. Oh boy, they are finicky. I wanted to throw that in as well for the for that. Creativity. Well, it's my route, so that's a bonus point. But it's less of a creative note for the screenshot itself, because it's not like you built up the area. And I'm not going to award creativity points to myself for making the area nice. That said, the double header with the freight train, it isn't what I would call necessarily a particularly atypical screenshot, but it is something. And the thought that was put into the locomotives and stuff like that. Although there are a few things about the VMR and their operations that, of course, I know that Matt may not know, and that nobody else may know unless they've religiously listened to every single episode of Under Construction 3 or 4 times. Why this assemblage of locomotives wouldn't necessarily make sense, but the time that was taken to think about the consist here, I do like, and I think it's worthy of a 7 probably. I could see that. Yeah, and again, because there were some things that were borrowed, and I don't know exactly how to call it, but that there was a lot of attention paid to the train and the motive power. But other than that, again, this scene was not necessarily organically grown for this screenshot competition. But that doesn't make it bad. Construction. How the heck am I supposed to grade construction when I'm the one who built the place? Do I just give it an 8 and move on? I feel like I've been stingy. Yeah, I'll just do that. Whatever. It's a nice area. I like RJ Canyon. I just got another text. Composition. Now, about the learning the environmental settings for this, that is worth something. I just figured fast forward. It meant the duality. Oh, okay. I appreciate. Matt just chimed in and said he did actually mean that duality, and I very much appreciate that. Then, Uh, that's a worthy point in the story side of it. Composition, I think it's framed well. Like I said, I kind of wish I could see under the bridge more. The angle could just be a little bit better, and I wish the sky was a little bit redder. But other than that, I like the composition. I'm working on like co-host. Yeah, no, and I agree with Guy saying on the environmental settings thing. So yeah, composition. I think it's worthy of an 8. I'll give it an 8. I was going to suggest you give it a 10 out of 10 since you made the route. I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, content. Now, content, I'm going to double check my own thing, overall quality of content used. Now, we can't look at this stuff very well. The only knock on here is the fact that the bridge is a really old asset, and you can almost see the polygons. The way it is not arched smoothly is kind of an artifact of that, and I mean, other than that, you can't really tell. I mean, I know the trees are nice ones, but we can see all these trunks, which is admittedly my fault. But for content, I suppose I'll be generous and give it a 9, or I could just give it an 8 and move on. I mean, everything got too much lower made the bridge block the train. Oh, I see. Well, things get difficult. The only thing I can really knock on is the bridge, so I'm gonna give it a 9. Story. I like the story, and taking myself out of the knowledge of what the VMR is supposed to be doing at this time, it definitely works. So the only thing about the story that I would bring up is the fact that it's adding a lot of details that are very nice and very foamy, but aren't so helpful to the flow of what you're trying to say. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to give this a 7. It's pretty good, though. I feel like a 7 might be underselling it. Now, as for world, the world is well written. It ties into the world there. The screenshot is beautiful. It ties into the world that I've been trying to build, but of course it also strays from it with the different arrangements of locomotives and stuff like that. That said, it does also match the numbers of the locomotive classes that have been worked out for Tolbrand, so I'm going to give it a 9. Maybe that's too nice, I don't know, I'm giving it a 9. Relevancy. Relevancy to the plot, it's definitely, to the thing, it's definitely a bridge shot. Completeness. Okay. Last thing here. Everything here is complete except this is wrong, so that's an 8. Now, bonus, I gave a bonus because it's my route. There's your bonus point. I'm giving another bonus point because of the adherence to the locomotive classes on that route. There you go. And, maybe I could spring for a third one, but I don't want to mix up the competition too much. So let's grab the calculator real quick and punch these numbers in. 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 10 plus 8 plus 2. That's a 74. There you go. Alright, and next one. Oh, you know what? I didn't copy them. I meant to set this up, and then I got distracted, and then I started sounding like Alvin the Chipmunk. So, oh well. Next screenshot. Delete this. Delete this. And I'm sorry if I am harried, if I don't spend too much time on things. Again, I am on a time limit, and I didn't expect to have 10 minutes of downtime at the beginning of this. The other thing I didn't expect was to get 11 submissions, because wow, guys, I really appreciate it, and I'm glad this is popular, but that's a lot of submissions for me to go through on a short time scale, which of course is no one's fault but my own. Okay, well, I'm going to delete that. Next screenshot. A fading era. Okay, let's find this one. This sounds like an Ian screenshot, if I'm going to guess. With a name like Fading Era. Yeah, there it is. I did not check that ahead of time before anyone says anything. Oh, look at that sky. Okay. This is kind of a strange... I don't think that reflection works like that. I don't think reflection works like that. This looks like a flat backdrop. I don't know why it's giving me that impression. But why are they nose to tail? This is another one where the contrast doesn't really pop, but I like what's going on here. And I like the, the sort of front to back of the new in front of the old, and you took care not to overlap them, which I think is important. You can see both noses. This bridge is a really nice asset. The water effects are a little bit strange, but I don't think that's your fault. Somebody DM'd me, and I am going to double check that it's not from this, because of this screenshot. Oh, it is. Sorry. Like co-host. No. I'm sorry, Tyler. We're not doing the co-hosts. I tried that out once, and it didn't go over super well, so I'm just flying solo. Well, and I'm not talking about Gloria. Gloria also, I offered it to her, but she didn't want to sit around on camera. All the standards in this picture I like. Good, +1. So let's look at this thing and drop it in and talk about it. So the submission title is, once again, A Fading Era. That is by Ian, aka Conrail Fan. Okay, this is going to be quite a story. Sorry if I have to rush through it. Okay, December 1967, the date this photo was taken. It's not a date. I don't know if anyone knew what was happening in 3 months' time. Hell, I wasn't aware. I had a feeling things were grim and coming to an end. I never expected it to happen so soon and suddenly. This was one of the last images I took while on the job at the Pensy. I barely remember the job that day. It was to make sure the riverbank was secure and stable for the bridge's infrastructure. I don't even remember the day I shot the photo. What I do remember is the Broadway, was moving much faster than was moving much faster than the freight as the bridge was undergoing light repairs. It came as a shock to me when we did merge with those souls at the Central. Some of the most prickish snobs I've ever met. They weren't even willing to cooperate with us at all. Then again, I suppose we weren't either. It didn't matter. We ended up killing ourselves from the inside out. If I could go back and change it all, I guess I would have listened to that one U-boat I got to talk to in 1980 before I retired. 2501, I think the number was. I'm surprised I even remember that with my fading mind. I also remember him say something like, we coexist with each other. We fought to our literal end on Penn Central. We need to utilize what moments we have left and work together to ensure it never happens again. I brushed it off as preachy and laughed at them, but I later realized they were right. Oh well. I only have a few days left to live anyhow. Knowing my family, they're going to throw away my journal without any regard. It's just nice to be able to write out my thoughts one last time. Oh. Another sad ending story. Oh, also we've got this. So let's talk about this for a second. The PR main line is an epic thing. Really the only thing had to change asset-wise was the sky backdrop. I extended it by copying the texture and putting it on an even bigger plain asset using the clone tool in Paint.net. As for the story, it's based off of a story someone on trainorders.com told me. Rather sad, but at least they saved the journal before it was lost forever. Other than that, thank you, Chris, for letting me test out the RMods ST40s and for helping me find the F39 flats, pro trains for the Broadway, loosely based on what I saw in Penn Central Volume 1A by Green Frog. I like trains. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, don't leak this out. Let them type it out themselves. Okay, so you are allowed to see that. Also, if you want to view the trains in action, here's the link. Oh, and there's a thing. It also has a 6-second doodad. Let them type it out themselves. Okay, have fun typing that out, guys. All right, let's judge this Mosukra. Drowning men clinging to one another. Don't be mean to Ian. Okay, so impact. I think this is another. What did I give this one? This was another solid 6. It's light. It's nice. It's typing time. It doesn't jump out at you, although the water effects are very nice. So maybe for that I'll give it a 7, just to put it above the other one. Creativity. Well, it fits a theme. I mean, it fits the bridge shots theme, obviously, but it also fits the end of an era theme. Now, and that's the only reason why I don't want to give this a 10. Now, otherwise, of course, Ian always puts a lot of thought and background into his screenshots. It's very creative. It's very cool. Yeah, it's deserving of a 9. I'll call it that way. Construction. Getting the feeling pure mainline Tane. Yeah. So another one that wasn't built, but at least this background was sort of installed here. Cool. For construction-wise, I mean, again, it wasn't built by Ian. There was some work done on it. The trees are making me feel weird, like it's two-dimensional. I don't know why. I'm going to just give it an 8 and move on. Composition, sort of the same vibe. The only thing that's getting me is the water. Why is this train reflected in the water as well? Like, you shouldn't be able to see, like, up that way. You should be able to see under the bridge. It also might help if the trains were pulled a little bit more to the right. Now, I know meets like this are tough to time if the trains were moving. So, a little slack is granted there, but as far as composition goes, I think it's an easy 7. It maybe deserves a little more, but I will call it a 7. Content. So I know some of these things. These are old E's. These are kind of nice. Just there are missing shadows and things seem a little bit strange. This is a very old model. I think I'm going to give him an 8 for content, just because things seem very... and these are 2D trees, aren't they? That's what's getting me. Things seem very matte. Although this bridge is very nice. But this rock, it's close in on this very polygonal rock, is not helping anybody. So I'll give it an 8 for content. Story. Good story. Couple of little typos. So can't give it a perfect score. But, and also, this isn't a date. I mean, I hate to pick on it like that. I know I'm nitpicking here. How are we doing for time? Oh crap, I'm running. There's no way we're making 10 minutes to a thing. I'm sorry about that. But story, I'll give it another 8. I'll give it another 8. There were a couple little errors. It was a little bit tricky to get through. I don't know if this was copied from the journal, or if this was... Oh, yeah, no, it's based off of a story. So, it's well written. I like it. And now for world, of course, it's the real world. The shadows and the lack of shadows is getting me, but other than that, I will believe that the consists are as accurate as they're going to be. Relevancy. It's a bridge shot. Completeness. Let's check it. A fading era. Oh, excuse me. There's typos on purpose. I'm not gonna award points on typos. Right. That's in. This is correct. That's fine. Completeness, get a 10. Bonus points, 1 for standards. and 2 for detailed research. Let's do some math. 7 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 2. That's a 78. That's a good score. Good job. Okay, next picture. And we have to copy this over. I'm going to copy this one. Whoop, come on. Again, I should have prepared, and I did not prepare. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Okay. The Old Milwaukee Stride. Okay, I wonder whose this one is. Eastbound and Down. I'm not familiar with you. I know you've been in the group for a while. The Old Milwaukee Stride. This is not great. That's the first thing that jumps out at me, and that's kind of unfortunate because otherwise this is a really well put together photo. That's a really unfortunate knock on the impact points, I think. But other than that, yeah, this is all. Why is the? Oh, okay, it is reflected. The Old Milwaukee Stride. This is pretty. I like this. This is really pulling me in. This puts me in the location, and I can feel the breeze. I can hear the birds chirping. I can hear this engine. This is a really high quality screenshot, and I don't even necessarily mean well put together. Not saying that it isn't, but I mean that in that everything that we're looking at is literally high quality. The models are very nice. The trees are they look like speed trees. If they're not, they are fooling me. The grass is nice. The textures are nice. The reflection in the water is fantastic. Shadows and everything like that. This is pretty. I can't give it a 10 for thing, but it's pretty. For impact, rather. So this is the Old Milwaukee Stride. With quotation marks and a period. This is by Eastbound and Down. Oh, this is from an actual picture, too. Cool. Okay, let's drop that in. Hide that for a second. The westbound manifest to Plumer. Plumer trundles across the trestle over Lake Benoit with 3 SD40-2s in charge of the consist. Many of the trains that crossed and still cross that bridge are colorful. Boxcars, reefers, hoppers, flat cars, autoracks, trailer flats, and even a single container flat are seen on the consist. That's a very caption. I'm not sure if you guys get what I mean by that, but the auto parts cars near the rear give worry to the crew about the bridge's sturdiness, but for it to hold up for 67 years without breaking is a feat some wish their bridges had. Looking at you, Tennessee. Memphis. For the crew of the Manifest, entering the tunnel portal on the other side and not hearing a crunch of wood was a relief. The photo was taken by a fisherman who had stopped by the lake for a while. Photo date, 5/19/1975. That's a date. And I'm going to... Yeah, that's fine. So looking this over, I had a fair bit of difficulty figuring out what cars were on the original photo's consist, so I took some liberties with the consist in question and made it my own. I also tried to get the exact angle of my reference photo, but ended up slightly off. I also didn't want to try and replicate the early morning or evening lighting, as it ended up with a lot of fog, and I didn't want to edit the environmental settings for the route. Fair enough. But I don't know the original picture, so I'm just going to take this as it is. Again, good on the impact. I like it, and it would definitely get a higher score were it not for those wires. If those wires are in the original photo, I understand, but then maybe you could have either taken some artistic liberties or maybe chosen a different picture. That's a lot of wires. I just gotta say, it's a lot of wires. I'm still gonna give it an 8. I want to give it a 7, but I'm gonna give it an 8 because it's a really good screenshot, and it really does pull me into the moment, despite the fact that, you know, you're looking at 20 strands of wire in front of the cap, or in front of the tower. Creativity. Well, we got a little wooden trestle on a lake in, where was this? Lake Benoit, Plumer. I don't know exactly where this is. Somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. Very pretty, very cool. We have, and I'm just thinking about the different locations we've done thus far. Of course, Tolbrand is fictional, but this era of the Milwaukee, to do Milwaukee Road and not do an electric, kind of cool, kind of unusual. I feel like we don't see that very often. Now SD40-2s on a manifest freight, a little bit more standard, but otherwise pretty good. Otherwise pretty good. I think I'm gonna give this another solid 8. Construction, I see no reason to not give this a 10. And if I should have knocked off a point for the wires being in the way, consider the fact that I knocked off a point in impact. If maybe I'm overselling it, maybe I'm being too kind here, but either way. Composition, I think, is also, well, it would be spot on were it not for the wires. There it is again. Yeah, what to say about composition? Do I give it a 9 or an 8? I almost gave it a 10, so I'm definitely going to give it a 9. Content. I mean, it's very pretty. Again, everything here is fantastic. There's nothing here that seems, oh, like, I think I just spoiled something. I saw New Haven. Like low poly or anything. I know some of these boxcars are old, but content-wise, I did mention at the beginning that all the stuff here is pretty as hell. So they may not be the newest models. You know what? Yeah, I'll give it a 9. Am I being too nice? I don't know. Am I being too stingy? I don't know. Am I being too nice? I don't know. Story. So there's a few things going on here with the story. Also, I have as a player travels across the town like Benoit, 3 SD40-2s. There's just there are a few different things going on here, and I feel like the bit about the bridge sturdiness and stuff like that, I feel like that could almost be taken out and it would make for a better caption. But either way, it's a decently well written piece here. There's certainly nothing wrong with it, but it just doesn't flow perfectly. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9. As for world, I mean, it's pretty as hell. The only thing is I wish there was a little more ground cover on there, but that's more of a construction thing, and I gave a 10 for that. Yeah, I kind of wish the trees were denser on this portion here. Like, not this, up here. Oh well. It's pretty. But as far as world goes, based off a real screenshot, there's nothing in here that says to me, well, that doesn't seem right. So, there, relevancy, it's a bridge shot, there's a 10. Completeness. Let's double check. Old Milwaukee Stride by Eastbound and Down. What is my exact wording? Yeah, you know what, that fits. 10. Bonus points. I don't think I have any bonus points on this one. And you know what? No, I don't think I have any. Someone is now lawn mowing out there. And I just got a text from the U.S. Census Bureau. Cool. 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. That's an 83. That is a good score. If this wins, it will deserve it. It is a pretty picture. Alright, next. And I am just failing with regard to time here. There we go. Next. Patters City, 1973. Let's see this one. Patters City, 1970. All right, what is the screenshot called? Oh, with the Trex. Whoa, there's a lot going on here. I saw like the preview of this when somebody posted it in the server. There is a lot going on here. You got Penn Central, Cumberland Eastern, you got NW over there. You have everybody coming at you except for this guy. Is this guy on a turn? No, he's just on a track and the depth of field is short. What's with the void fog? I mean, it's kind of a cool and like spooky shot. I feel like these are like the council will judge your fate. And this guy just got put in wrong. It really does have an aura. It really has a cool spooky aura. I'm just taking this screenshot in for a minute. Okay. Okay. So let's pull this guy apart. First, I need to do this. Copy. If you do a screenshot based on a real picture, you're definitely allowed to link the real picture in the technical notes or something of your screenshot, because Milky did that and it definitely helped me gain an appreciation for what he was doing. So that's a note for future. I know it's been a while since that happened, but there are a couple that are based off of real screenshots thus far, or real pictures thus far, or at least the one, it seems. And that it might help, you know? It'll definitely earn you some sort of point. Okay. Submission title Patters City 1973 by K-Master. Oh, okay. You know, I was getting that vibe and I just couldn't put my finger on who it was. But it doesn't surprise me that it was K. The film crews for Pentrex did lots of work before the 90s. This was their first shoot. Drury's narration on the show, Trains of the C&E, makes this note about this scene. It is the summer of 1973. Pentrex crews are set up in eastern Ohio in Patters City. The former Pennsylvania Railroad track above the Cumberland and Eastern has been heavily downgraded and is currently single track under the Penn Central. Cumberland and Eastern's dispatcher has lined 2 trains on the main 1 and 2 through town. A B&O train is stopped in the interlocking with a few boxcars. The Nickel Plate Roads line into Patters is now owned by the Norfolk and Western. We can see 2 trains coming into scene now. During filming, C&E's official photographer, Mike Abelson, got the soon-to-be Pentrex crews into lots of yards and other facilities. He snapped the following photograph during the filming of this. Mr. Abelson radioed the dispatcher to get the GP30 and SD45 lined up like so. Really. C&E, PC, and NW used this shot for over 13 years in PR. Cool! That's a bonus point. Oops, I put it in the wrong spot. That's a bonus point. Impact, very cool, very spooky. Easily an 8, maybe a 9. There isn't a lot to the background, but as far as just a shot goes, it makes me go, ooh, look at that picture. You know, you guys sort of heard it. This is the second one that's really sucked me in like that tonight. Creativity. Again, it's a recreation of a regular screenshot. I'm going to assume this was home built, although let's look at this. All trains are moving. It took 20 to 30 minutes to get the angle right. Version 7 of the shot. WI&M gods behind the GP30. Can't be seen well. Oh, that's another bonus point. WI&M. Okay, sure. Uh, that's a internal meme. Great. Creativity. I mean, it's a cool shot. It's a hell of a shot to pick. I almost want to downgrade it because it's such a popular PR shot. Like, I want to give it a good score, but it's also kind of less creative to grab something that was used as a PR shot for over a decade and recreate that. Like, it's cool and it's clever, and it does, grant you a lot of stuff, a lot of good material to work off of. But it's not super creative, you know? So I'm actually thinking of, I'm giving that a 7. Uh, Construction. There are some things kind of missing here. I mean, there's not a lot of background, which, I mean, I guess is fine because it's dark. I think everything's well put together, but it's just like, what is this, like, plain texture? And it feels like the track is sitting on a model, on a table. It feels like a model railroad almost. Just the way this is set up and the way the track is sitting and things like that. So, as far as construction goes, it's not poorly constructed, it's just not finessed. That might be the word. I'll give it a 7. Composition. It's a well composed shot. I can give it that. The lighting is good. The lighting is good if this is what you're trying to do and set up a certain shot. I haven't seen the original shot, so I don't know how faithful it is, but I like the way everything is framed, except this guy is a little bit too close to this guy. Maybe that's not your fault. Maybe it was like that in the original photograph, but I don't know. On balance, I'm not sure where to send it. Composition. Do I just go with an 8? Do I just call it a day? Do I be nice and call and give it an 8? I don't. It's like an 8 or excuse me. It's like an 8 or it's like a 6. I don't know. It's a well choreographed shot. I'll give it an 8. Content. Well, the WNM thing is pretty funny. The rest of this, the textures leave something to be desired. Is this like, this track does not have frogs in it. This bridge is not the worst, although the one behind it is a little bit plain. What about you? Yeah, these things that are, I mean, they're not low poly, but they're not really high poly. I'm looking at the Switch Tower. A lot of these, they look like JR models. I think I'm going to give it a 9. Maybe that's being, yeah, it's too generous. I'm going to give it an 8. Story. I got a little bit confused here. But now I guess I understand, as this was a film crew that later worked for Pentrex. But I feel like it could have been phrased better. The exact quote is nice to have. It presents a good caption. But there's a little less creativity there because it's just taking it from the Pentrex narration, or the Trains of the C&E narration, I should say. So, it's a cool story. I think I'm going to give it a 7. World. It's a real screenshot. It's a real life screenshot. It's a photograph brought into trains. Now, the thing that gets me about it, and the reason that I don't love it for world points, I'm going to give it an 8, I'm pretty sure. The reason that I don't like it is, of course, not a fault of K, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's sort of a fault of the photograph itself. There's so much going on here that I could never sit here and go, this wasn't staged. And of course, it sort of was and sort of wasn't. Like, the two trains were called through more or less at the same time because the photography crew... What? Why do I have 6 things? What do you want? Did the stream break? Oh, okay. See, I don't know. See, notes like that are the kind of thing that you should put down here. So I was informed the CNE isn't a real thing, but that's the kind of thing that really ought to be put down in the technical notes here, so that I know everything about a screenshot. So with that in mind, I'm going to put this at a 9. And I'm going to put this also at a 9. And as for world, now I have no problem giving it a 7. Because that's a lot of trains here at once. There's no way it wasn't staged. Relevancy. I mean, it's a bridge shot. Completeness, let me double check. Completeness. I was just making sure I didn't need that anymore. Filming blah blah blah. There. Oh right, yeah. So that's an 8 on completeness. Actually, yeah. 9 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 7 plus 10 plus 8. Whoops, hold on. 9 plus 9 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 9 plus 7 plus 10 plus 8 plus 2. And a bonus because you totally had me fooled, so 78. Okay. Next one. Locomotive Scheme is literally a cigar brand. You can, but I wasn't looking over here. Alright. Kay actually DM'd me. That's why, Alright, anyway. Let's move on to the next one. Before I make more of a fool of myself, being completely taken away by this photo. By this alleged photo. Alright, so, clear this out. I do feel like I'm too generous, though, sometimes. With this, anyway. Alright, next one. There were 2 bridges in this photo. I feel like that should have been in the technical notes of the other one, because I didn't, There were 2 bridges in this photo. Oh, wow, my god! I was wondering what sort of title like that was going to be. I did not expect that to be the Weibold screenshot. Okay, this is the first one that gets a 10 for impact. Also, nice. Oh, what was that? I bet that was East. That had to be East's screenshot. I just saw battleships. Submission title. There were 2 bridges in this photo. This is fantastic. By Weebold. Okay. Okay, let's read this one. June 14th, 1947. Dear Diary. Mama sent me into town this morning to check up on why Dad was called in last night. The caller knocked on the door at around 3 this morning. I was asleep, looking for him and wondering if we had a phone to call the other rec foreman on the division. I think his crew is based in Jacksonville. At the depot, I tried to ask Mr. Flannery if he knew what the big fuss was, though he had locked himself in his office and sounded like he was on the phone. Probably something to do with the fog. He's always busy when there's fog. I did eventually figure it out, though. I rode down to the river to see if the track crew was using Dad's crane to help with the repairs on the old bridge, only to find the old bridge wasn't there anymore. Apparently last night's storm washed out his support, and the 12 o'clock to Tampa took care of the rest. I found the engine buried in the mud on the bank, with the headlight all smashed up and the driver sunk in the mud. Not sure who all got out okay, but one of the coaches was rolled over in the river, so they must have been going pretty quick. Dad and the other foreman's crane were loaded one of the coaches onto some flats when I left. It was all covered in moss and full of water, again with all the glass smashed up. I would have hated to be on that trip. Charlie. That's cute. That's pretty outstanding, actually. I really like that. Okay, next one. All stock is period location correct as far as I know. You can't really tell, but the engine is in Atlantic Coastline 462. Okay, that is helpful. Appreciate that. Now the real question is, did the Atlantic Coastline 462s have the number series that would allow them to be number 420? Anyway, I'm giving the bonus point for 420. Impact. Yeah, that's a 10. Creativity. How do I not give this a 10? I mean, look at this. Look at this picture. And plus with the title and everything, and look, there's even moss on the coaches. And I don't know what's going on here with the reflection, but stop showing me the battleships right now. Thank you. I don't know what is going on here, but that's weird trains glitches. Yeah, I mean, how do I not give this a 10? I mean, it's a wreck scene. I mean, we've seen wreck scenes before, but with everything put together, it being a diary entry, it being you know, look at the coaches upside down. That takes some effort. It being the diary entry, it being, you know, all period location correct, blah, blah. I know we've had a... I'm hearkening back to the wreck scene that Ian did a few competitions ago, or a couple competitions ago, and that was pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's a Florida one that East didn't send in. So, you know, alright, there it is. There's the 10. Construction. What could I possibly knock on construction on this one? Although, I mean, I feel like maybe you could use more foliage up there. But that's kind of it. What is this? The stuff made it underneath the bridge over there? What is going on over there? How would this have done that? I don't know, the more I look at this wreckage, the less I like it. But I'll give it a 9. I'm sure it was thought through, but it's not immediately obvious to me why and how all of the metal managed to like turn 90 degrees and go under the bridge. Because you feel like it would get bunched up on the other one. I mean, sure, it could have happened. Is this like the girder section? I don't know. That doesn't seem... Maybe it's a red herring, maybe that's not supposed to be part of the bridge. But that's the only thing I can think of that goes, how did that get there? Otherwise, I'm still blown away. Composition. It's supposed to be in the morning, so you have the morning mist. Maybe this could be pushed over a little bit more to the right so it's not cut off on the side of the screen. Otherwise, yeah, otherwise I don't know what to say about it other than that. Yeah, the mist is really nice. The kid looking at the locomotive. The headlight looks fine to me, though. I don't know what the kid was talking about. But yeah, I'll give that a 9. I'll give that a 9. Just because of this, and like, I don't know, it just, if I could give it like a 9.5, I would. Content. This is all very nice content. Like he said, it's all from the location. This is, I don't know what this guy is, although it looks like an old model. Are these, okay. The people obviously are really old, although I understand that you don't have a lot of choice there. The coaches are also not the newest things in the world. We should have better coaches, I think. These are like these feel like the '06 ones. I feel like I've used these 100 times over. But I mean, other than that, deserves a were the it looks like the bogeys were taken off of these, which is even better. Even you know, yeah, some of the stuff is a little bit low poly. Not that much can really be done about that. Do we give it a 9 or a 10? 9 or a 10. At least the good stuff is front and center. I'll give it a. I closed it out. I'll give it a 10. Well, the rest of it's on the story anyway. Yeah, the story is fantastic. I don't know how old this kid is supposed to be. Maybe he's punching a little bit above his weight when it comes to his writing ability. Let's see what people are talking about here. Definitely, yeah. Could be possible. Okay, I appreciate the people looking up. For 20 was an ACL. Okay. I'm glad you guys have made that clear. But yeah, it's so pure and so good. It's like I'm looking at this going, yeah, more or less a kid could have written this, especially with the little asides like that. And this, obviously not like recognizing the fact that this was a disaster and there are probably a lot of dead people. Yeah. Yeah, and I'll give it a 10. World. 9. 9 for the weirdness of the bridge bits. That's about it. That's all I can say. I feel like some of the 10s were maybe a hair generous, so I'll give it a 9. Relevancy. It's almost a double bridge shot. It's like a bridge and a half. Completeness. Let me double check this, but Weibel's always good about that, as are most people. There were 2 bridges in this photo. Weibel and Brett Weibel. Okay. 10. Bonus point 1 for 420. Another one for extensive research, just to get the stuff right. I almost want to give it another point just because it's a take that we haven't seen, like the kid's diary entry. But I've been pretty stingy on bonus points so far, so I'll leave it as is. Let's do the math. It's going to be a really good score nevertheless. Okay, so that's 10 plus. No. 10 plus 10. 10 plus 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 2. Plus 2. 89. That's a good score. That's a hell of a good score. It took me by surprise. Maybe because I'm kind of new to trains, but I like these the coaches. It's old school stuff. I have a special soft spot for those coaches too, seeing as I've used them since the beginning of time. But anyway, let's grab this. There were 2 bridges in this photo. I'm gonna be giggling about that for the rest of the night. I swear to God. Okay, next one. We are still less than halfway through. I'm gonna be late as hell. A rainy day in May, where not all of the title is capitalized. That's interesting. A rainy day in May. Ooh, I like the fact that it's a square picture. That's different. I don't know what this is. Is there something on the lens? What is that down there? It's spooky. It doesn't pop, but it's definitely the kind of thing you want to look at for a little while. So let's bring this guy in, and we'll talk about him. Meanwhile, let me grab this. Oh, this is Brian's. Okay. A rainy day in May. And Starlight Alchemist. Mr. Brian. Okay. On a New York Central branch line, boo, somewhere in the Appalachians, mixed freight 9743 North crosses a curved iron bridge during an unusually wet evening in May. 9743 had departed on time from the nearest yard a few miles south and was running ahead of schedule. No mention of which yard that was. Because of this, the engineer made the wise decision to slow the engine down. The reason he did so was because of an incident a few years prior where another mixed freight accelerating onto the main had a string line mid-train and the rear half fell down into the river. Some boxcars from which still lay there. Haha. Still laid there. Okay. Not sure if the tense is right, yeah. I guess that's correct. Let's do this one. This was relatively simple. I started off with a newer version of Dotson Junction, which had plenty of good bridges to work with, and found this turnoff towards the unfinished off-map staging yard. I removed the original wooden trestle and replaced it with an iron girder bridge with some supports. I then added a pair of default derelict boxcars in the river, set up a bend kneel to a 2, and added a period-ish consist, and topped it all off by setting the weather to stormy. Yeah, so this is not fiddling with the environmental settings, but it looks good enough. So, because of the fact that I'm going way over time and am going to be incredibly impossibly late, I'm going to, let's see, impact of this. It's spooky. I don't like this. That's a question for composition. Impact of this, I think, let's compare it to what I gave K's here. I gave this a 9. Okay, this is probably deserving of like a 7. I give it a 7. Creativity. Put together yourself. Did the not your route, of course, but the story made up, the backstory made up, the yeah. And the aspect ratio, yeah, you know what, this, I'll give an 8 for creativity on this. Construction. Not your route, but you replace the bridge, and I mean, really, there's not much to it other than the bridge. So, you know, we could say you built it. String line is interesting because you'd think the string line would have fallen that way and not this way. But, I don't know how long ago that was, and the boxcars could have shifted in the river. Yes, computer, what are you doing? So, construction, there's not a lot to see here, but that's kind of a benefit. I'll give it an 8. Composition. What is this? And everything is really dull. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but you know, it almost works like water on the lens. So it almost adds to it. The way the headlight is, I know you can't control that, but it's weird. Let's see. Composition. I'm gonna give it an easy 7. Maybe it deserves more than that, but maybe I've been generous elsewhere. Content. It's a bend kneel engine. It's an old bridge. I think I know these supports. Speed trees, those are fine. I mean, what can I say here? It's tough to see. So I'll give it a 9 for content. I mean, knowing it's a bend kneel engine almost makes me knock it down because I know those things are so old. But it looks good in the fog. The story's fine. Missing a couple of little bit details. You could have named which yard it was. Well, I understand it is being vague. Actually, that version of Ben Neal's it's a new Ben Neal engine? Okay. Well, I don't feel as bad giving it a 9 then. The story. Everyone was scrambling for another DLS a few days ago. Okay. Fair enough. So, I like the story. It just seems a little bit vague for no particular reason. I mean, part of it is worthwhile, like, somewhere in the Appalachians is nice, but the nearest yard a few miles south, you could have just said from the yard. I don't know. Yeah, I think an 8 is fair. World. I need to stop getting distracted by the chat. World. I mean, it's a put-together scene. It makes sense. I don't know much about the Central's operations, or even how accurate this locomotive is to a Central 2A2, because I know the Ben Neal engines are reskinned, and I'll say that perhaps this is the genuine article. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the world here other than the way the string line fell, and I think I've been a little bit pessimistic, so I'll give it a 10. Relevancy. It's on a bridge. Completeness. Rainy day in May. A rainy day in May. And it's close enough. Bonus points. None, because it's the Central. No, I'm kidding. But honestly, I can't think of necessarily anything that like jumps out at me about, oh, you know what, the weird aspect ratio. Take a bonus point for that. Total. Do some math. 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 7 plus 9 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 1. So 78. I think this screenshot's punching above its weight, but I like it. This is the kind of thing I feel like with a little bit of touching up you could have hanging on the wall because of the, aspect ratio and stuff. And maybe if you trimmed the bottom a little bit, if you cropped it so that the engine was a little bit more centered. Okay. I'm glad someone appreciated that. All right, next one. We are now more than halfway done, and I am more than halfway late. What could be? I wonder whose this one is. What could be? Bender. Oh, this is pretty. Oh, hey, it's those coaches again. What could be? Wow! What's up with the trees back there? That's kind of weird. They look like peeps. But other than that, I really like this. Everything pops. I feel like I've stepped into a movie, and I don't mean that like stepped into a Western. I mean that like stepped into a Disney film. I'm noticing some things about the composition here. I wish this was more centered. But as far as this popping, it definitely pops. We'll take a look at this while I set the document up. So, this is definitely... No. No. Holy crap. Okay. Today on Watch Ellis struggle with a Google product. But yeah, the general thoughts are, wow, this is really pretty, and also, what is going on with the background? And why is the subject so high in the frame? Other than that, it's a great screenshot, honestly. So the submission title is What Could Be, and that's why this feels almost like a Dreamland sort of vibe. Let's get this screenshot in here and read the little blurb, because that might give us a better window on what exactly is meant by this. Oh, and there's a huge thing, including... Woof. Okay, so we'll have to look at that. In October, the ex-Milwaukee Road Elk River branch, Union Pacific, or in October, on the ex-Milwaukee Road Elk River branch, UP 23 or 2537 and MKSPL Mikado trundles over Bridge EE 506. Tourism is winding down across America, and with November quicker approaching, these are the last trains of the season. Years of hard work and honest people have enabled 2537, a USRA Light Mikado, to be taken from its last resting position in Walla Walla, Washington, and restored to operation on this large and beautiful railroad. I'm going to give a bonus point because Walla Walla, Washington is fun to say. You never know how you can get points around here. Track and trestle on the left are from trains, forge, as are the Pullman Palakas. Mikado's from K&L and is very pleasant. Well, I'm glad it's very pleasant. Most of the other scenery is blah, blah, blah. Based on this photograph. So let's look at this photograph. Oh, okay, that's right. Because this also got posted while people were talking about it. So, the bridge is not the same, but I see where it's coming from. Yeah, see how this is more centered in the frame? That's a little bit better than this. But anyway, I am going to give it a... I'm going to give it a 9 for impact, because nothing's going to live up to Voivold's screenshot at this point. Creativity. This is so damn pretty. And to find all these assets and put them together in a way that makes this picture look like this picture, that takes some doing. And while that may not... Oh, you know what? The trees in the background are accurate. Of course they are. That takes some doing. And the story and stuff like that... Tourist line, not the most unique thing in the world, but engine with a backstory. Do I give it a 9? Do I give it a 10? I'll give it a 10 because I'm really impressed. Okay, construction. I'm looking at this, how do I not give it a 10? I mean, the bridge is wrong, but that's not the biggest thing in the world. I feel like you could have... What was that? I feel like you could have picked something different for the back here to make the trees look less like little, you know, marshmallow things that I want to eat. So otherwise I'll... No, I can't not give it a 10. Look at those trees. Look at those plants. Look at this. Look at this. How do I not give that a 10? Holy crap. It's gorgeous. Okay, composition. Why is the train so far up, and why are there, you know, Easter candies in the background? I'm going to give it a 7 and move on. Content. Sure, I'll give it a 10. Story. It's a little short, but sometimes short is good. It doesn't say October of what year. And was that like an ice cream truck? What the heck? Oh, I missed my daily. Oh, no. Whatever. The thing is, the thing that gets me here is it mentions that it's a MKSPL Mikado and then a USRA Light Mikado. I don't know if those are the same thing, but the fact that it's said twice, it just sort of messes with the flow. Also, November quicker approaching. I'm going to give this story a 7 and move on. You know, I'll give it a 6. It's not... I like it, but it's not super impressive. It's not again, there are a couple of weird things with it, and it doesn't have the gravitas to smooth over those small faults. Admittedly, there are small faults, but in a brief summary like this, the small faults have a lot of weight. Now, as for World, I mean, it's a real place. Even the trees are real. I'm going to look at this again in comparison to this, and yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? It's pretty spot on. It's pretty close. So, I'll give it a 10. Maybe that's too generous, but I'll give it a 10. No, you know, I don't know. Relevancy, it's a bridge shot. Completeness. Let's check the name of the thing. What could be better? Yeah, you know what? That's spot on. Bonus points. I gave my bonus point for Walla Walla. Is there anything else that jumps out at me that's deserving of a bonus point? No, I feel like I've gushed enough over how damn pretty this screenshot is. And it is really, really pretty. You know? Sometimes I feel bad when I'm judging when I have to say less than positive things about what I'm judging. But I really hope the takeaway here is that this is so damn pretty. It's still got an 83 despite its weird compositional flaws. There was a lot of effort put into that. How does that stack up with these other ones? 78, 89. Yeah, you know what? It deserves to be up here with this. And yeah, there's an 83. Okay, so it got the same as the Milwaukee one. And now I think the Milwaukee one got a little short-handed, which now I feel bad about. But oh well. Yeah. Mountain Range at the back is terrible. Once again, it's PBR texture time. I appreciate the in terms of what the W, I, and M and the Elk River Wrench could be. Don't give up on stuff like this. That's my recommendation here. It absolutely will. You can absolutely make a difference in something like that. With the right backing, you too can have your own Heritage Railroad. Next one. $10 per thing was a pie-in-the-sky ideal. I like these screenshots too much, and I want to talk about them too much. Same thing, but laid down 3 times. Well, that's neat. Okay. DIY Tourist Railroad, exactly. You can start with a pop car and go from there. Next screenshot is what could be. Oh, wait a minute. Did I? Oh, okay. Oh boy, here it is. I said it like I said what could be because I was like, oh, the last one was slightly different, and this one is what could be, or like, well, will be. But no, I just reread the same thing twice differently. Okay, there's a bridge. I remember this scene from Man in the High Castle. This is also a what could be, or what could have been. Well, I'll give it a 10 for impact. I'll say that much. That much is clear. The boats! Of course it's East's thing. We're doing a trains screenshot competition and we just keep getting images from the war. This is like PTSD, but What is this? Is like PTSD, but served via a train screenshot competition. The year is 1960, and Japanese forces make their way into the San Francisco Bay to sign a treaty with Germany to dissolve the Japanese Pacific states into the control of the Greater Nazi Reich in exchange for an oil trade. Battleship Musashi is seen here following her battle force into the bay. Following? Where Grand Admiral Inokuchi will disembark. There are several American-built ships that now serve under the IGN. Oh my god. This shot was going to have a lot more detail in it, but I woke up the day after taking this proof of concept screenshot, and Transit somehow uninstalled itself and then reinstalled itself on a different drive. Yeah, you know what? It is the Man on the High Castle shot. Of course it is. Disclaimer, I haven't seen Man on the High Castle, but I've seen that picture. Again and again and again. Okay, let me just look at this real quick for reference, just to fulfill this. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll give it a 10 for impact. Creativity. I should give it a 10 for creativity. I mean, I'll be honest, it deserves it. It's memeing, but it's a 10 for creativity. Construction. Well, what to say? It's a lot of water. We have the Golden Gate Bridge here. I don't think I can give a 10 for construction when 90% of the screenshot is water. But I assume you told Tyler you were doing this. I mean, what this ship is half cut off. That's not great. Well, give a 9 for construction, I guess. I don't know how to score construction when construction includes placing ships in the water, and that's about it. Composition. There's a ship half cut off on the right side. Otherwise, how does it match this one? It matches it pretty close. The camera is a little bit up. Oh, and the ship is cut off on the right side of this one. I mean, okay, it matches, but it could have been better. Composition. Well, I don't know. I don't like that. Give it an 8. Content. Some of these seem a little low poly, if I'm honest. I mean, they're ships. I get it. This one looks nice enough. But also, I don't know how you would change it, but it's obvious that they're standing still. What is? I'm getting DM'd, so clearly I've messed something up. I get that. You don't have to yell at me. That doesn't make it a better picture. But content, I mean, how do I score it on content when there are a total of like 10 assets? Also, that you can see the polygons of the bridge cables. I don't know where you get a better Golden Gate Bridge, but like, damn. Here, I assume he's yelling at me in here. The bridges of the ships count for anything. Oh. No, I'm not. No additional bridges. Compare it to this again. I mean, everything's there. But, you know, some of the stuff is a little low poly. These aren't World of Warships models. Story. I don't know if this matches with the Man on the High Castle story. But either way, like, first of all, whether it matches or not, there is literally $0% chance that Japan would have ever won the Pacific War. So, on the basis of Murica, and that isn't just a basis of Murica, it is, I mean, ask. I mean, I was about to say ask any historian who's worth his, worth his salt or whatever the phrase is. But, you can pick out a lot of stuff in the Pacific Campaign where the balance could have swung a little more in the Japanese favor, but there is, I'm sure there is a convoluted explanation that leads to this in the Man in the High Castle series, but obviously that isn't the important part of the series. The important part is they won. The important part is not how they won. So, making it for an oil trade, I guess, makes sense. But as far as story goes, also that's a hell of a run-on sentence. I just noticed the first one. But do I give it an 8 or a 7? If it weren't for the run-on sentence, I would definitely give it an 8. But 7 because, 1, there's no way this would happen. And 2, you could have used a comma in here somewhere. Also, following. So there are supposed to be more ships on the other side of the camera. I guess, because following. World. Oh, wait, no. You know what? Story gets an 8. Story gets an 8. I don't feel like I can give it more than an 8. World? Nah. Also, it's 1960. What are these ships still doing? What have they been doing for the last, 10 years, even if the war went long? That you're not going to be tooling around with a battle fleet. I mean, maybe there's still fighting going on. I don't know. But I feel like at this point, you've either won or these ships aren't around anymore because it's 1960 and the age of battleship engagements is long gone. I'm fairly confident that that with technological developments being as they were and being as they were going to be, you wouldn't see a battle fleet like this in 1960. But that's why. Do I like the screenshot? Do I think it's innovative? Am I glad to see it here? You need to patrol the Pacific and stuff. It's 1960. And they don't have satellites yet, but no. This is more of a knock on Man in the High Castle, but I'm giving it a 5 for World. There's not a rush to develop new tech. Well, I mean, fair enough, but the planes still were ruling by the end of the war. I don't know. I would like to take it up with the directors. I would love to have Drakenfell break down this picture and everything wrong with it. Relevancy. There's a bridge in the picture. Completeness. The March of Japan. Yeah, complete. It's complete. Bonus. I will give a bonus point because of just how out of left field this was. I can't not. What? So 10 plus 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 10 plus 10 plus 1. Did I do that right? Yeah, thanks, Guy. This is what my son does to me. Did I do that right? Yeah. Yeah, it's a 79. Of course it's a 79. It's a picture. Anyway. Back to the screenshots related to trains, please. I'm not confused. Confused is not the word to use here. Okay. Next one. Okay. Here we go. Pairs nicely with a good imagination. I saw this one sitting over here. Let's go grab it. Pairs nicely with a good imagination. There it is. Oh, I like this. Oh, this is cool. This gets a 10. This gets a 10 for impact. There's a cat. That's a bonus point. All right, let's start talking about this one. This is a nice change of pace from the Japanese Navy. Submission title: Pairs nicely with a good imagination. Let's grab that. Oh boy, this is a block of text. I know Ryan just left, so he just missed me going over this. And let me grab the the doobly-doo. Okay. It's become all too common a sight nowadays to see model railroading border on perfectionism. Gone are the days of IHC Mikados chugging happily past Plasticville with a rake of boxcars from every era, or old River Rossi Berkshires running in tandem with Triceratops. Those days, and most of the whimsicalities of model railroading are far gone. Today's model railroads must be correctly detailed down to the last axle, or else the wrath of the ever-watchful rivet counter will rain down upon thee. If they don't kill you, then surely the NMRA professional at your next train show will. Being basement division, running through beautiful 4x8 country is a unique exception. This specific photo chronicles a very busy day on the railroad, with nickel plate 759 in charge of an excursion heading east in the foreground. She's traversing Blue Box Bridge, aptly named for its unique kind of support system. In the background, an interchange freight waits for permission to proceed forward. Mr. Dash the cat is taking his sweet old time inspecting the SW-1500 on the temporary spur. I keep wanting to look over, and I keep losing my place. Even further back, Digitrack's yard is just starting the day with an X-like Erie and Eastern S4 serving as the day's switching power. There doesn't appear to be a lot to do. It's speculated by many modelers that the large brick building produces auto parts, so maybe those 86-footers will be shoved into the receiving track soon. The railroad operator has stayed silent on the matter, it should be noted. To the right are the engine facilities with a smattering of power present for whatever the railroad may need. A mix of privately owned and railroad-owned locomotives make up the shot. However, due to the railroad's lack of unified paint scheme, it's incredibly hard to tell who owns what. On the high line is an ex-Utah Belt GP7 powering the 2x4 turn. The 2x4 turn serves the northern industries on the line, which, as one would notice, is mostly lumber. Overall, its unique operation which truly encompasses the notion that not everything has to be realistic. There's your high line back there. The only real kicker would have been throwing in like a European engine on that or something. That would have been the like mark on the thing. There's an F40, that's a bonus point. Are those cans of paint? Man, this would make me so concerned. Are these being balanced on order? Okay, no, they're sitting on these boxes. Okay. I was like, are they using the cars as a support system? There's the rack here leaning up over here. This is, I mean, it's well detailed, honestly, for a model railroad. For a model railroad that waves going for detail in your face. So, yeah, impact, I'll give this a 10 because this is fantastic. Creativity, oh, come on, how do I not give this a 10? Construction. Is there anything, okay, it's almost cheating. Okay, first of all, the only takeaway, the only thing that I'm noticing here is the fact that there's nothing on the other shelves of this. There's so much work put into onto the top shelves here. There's nothing on the other shelves. That's kind of an issue. Also, is this cat to scale? Seems rather small. Maybe it's a kitten. It's unrealistic because the cat hasn't knocked over everything here. There's some detailed smoke on this engine, though. For a model. Assuming this is HO scale, the cat I think is a little bit small. Assuming it's like S gauge, that kind of throws everything off. But construction, I'll give it a 9 because this is missing down here. There's nothing down here. Also, it doesn't. Well, that's still one I haven't seen. We haven't gotten to the New Haven one yet. This guy doesn't seem to be supported at all. I don't know what's going on there. Do I give it an 8 because of that? Nah, it's bolted into the wall or something. Nothing too special. Standard procedure of building a model railroad and the like, with most of the assets coming from ferries, DLS, and the DLCs. Mostly everything is shockingly replicated. Composition. There's so much going on here. I kind of wish it was shifted a little bit down so this wasn't so close to the top, but I see why it is the way it is. I'll give it a 9. Content. It's another one of those things where it's almost cheating because it doesn't matter how bad something is, it's just a bad model, you know? It fits. I like the stack of CDs. Have you ever... What is this? Have you seen him, Florida Man? That's 2 bonus points. Okay, we'll come back to content in just a second. I just want to go from the bottom up now that I'm distracted. Completeness. Pairs nicely with a good imagination. 10. Relevancy. 10. That's definitely a bridge of some kind. If the Golden Gate and the other one counts as a bridge, so does this. World. The only reason I'm going to give it a 9, it deserves a 10. The only reason I'm going to give it a 9, other than the fact that the shelves are empty, is... And the benchwork being like that, but I know you can't change that in Model Railroad, in a you know, doodad, is the fact that I don't know a single model railroad that wouldn't be having a panic attack looking at this. It's great to not be a rivet counter, but I want to keep my stuff for more than like a month without it falling on the floor. I look at that, it gives me anxiety. So that's why it's a point off for giving me anxiety. Ellis is still using Chaka. That small guy is unrealistic. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, but content. I mean, there's so much good stuff here. Oh, I forgot about the. Oh wait, I gave the point for. No, I didn't give the point for the F40. This thing might win. This screenshot might win. Story. It's incredibly well written, although it goes on a little bit long. Hi. Before you say something, I know I have to leave. I'm on like the last 3 screenshots. Hi. Hi. I love you. Content. I mean, whatever. I'll just give it a 10. Just give it a 10. What? Okay, let's look at this. This did really, really well. 10 plus 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 3. That's an 89. That ties Weibold. Fantastic. Okay, now I need to grab it and grab it and put it down here. So this should be, I believe, the penultimate screenshot. Is it the New Haven one? Oops. Oops. Also IHC. Ha ha ha. Okay. Next screenshot. It's going boomer mode on Ryan. We can get rid of the Japanese fleet now. Okay. We're gonna delete this. Wait by the river. This is Tyler's, isn't it? I think I saw this one. This is Tyler's. I didn't see it, but that's a Lord Huron song, isn't it? Ooh, I like this. It doesn't make me go, wow, like some of the other ones have, but I do like this. Also, that bridge is scrunched. These are the pillars that he made. What is this guy doing over there? The horses. Cat. Hold on, I'll do it. Hold on. Tyler knows how to extort points out of me. Anyway, working from the bottom up while we're here. Relevancy, yes, it's a bridge shot. Okay. So, impact. Well, let's talk about that in a second. We gotta read the doodad first. So, yeah, it's Tyler, of course, I can see that. Wait by the river. And Mr. Penshifan. It's a cool September afternoon in 1924. Creeping ever cooler around 4:20 p.m. Really? As the westbound local number 27 approaches the Salt River crossing outside of Tempe. Evidently, some action is occurring on the dry riverbed below, as a small team of horses is nursed to town by a Salt River Valley Water Users Association employee. That's a mouthful. With the critters of nature's breath scampering around, the backdrop is set for our intrepid photographer. This man, one Mr. Middlebrook, was a Santa Fe engineer with a passion aided by his position. Joined by a posse consisting of a gleaming Ford and a trusty feline, the stage is set for the recording. Okay. Backdrop is set, stage is set. It's a little bit of a repetition there. Recording a rather slow yet thunderous performance from the 440. These services would not last as the Arizona Eastern would be merged into the SP lines before years. That's an apostrophe. The long-awaited main line for Phoenix gracing the valley within 2 years' time. However, such trivialities of politics and operations are for the next generation. For today's show erupts with each labored breath of that iron horse perched above the perilous lifeline of this barren land. Artsy. Impact. It's pretty. It doesn't jump out at me as much as it could, but it is pretty, so I'll give it an 8. Creativity. Arizona Eastern. He made the bridge pillars himself, set the scene himself, no doubt. Let me double check this. Oh, route is west Arizona Eastern. Oh, this is his route. So that's worthy. I mean, I feel like I should give this a... Whoops, that's not the picture. I feel like I should give this a 10. It almost feels like the same people were just transported, but I know it's not. But yeah, I mean, look at all the work that went into that. So, construction. These bridge supports, I will trust that they belong here, but they don't look like they belong here. They look way too modern to be here. Oh, and I got a couple of DMs, so I messed something up. Hold on. Is Tyler yelling at me about a screenshot? Yes. Solar water uses real car. 418. Mr. Middleburg's a real person. So this concept is correct. While confirm. You should put all these in the technical notes, damn it. Okay, fine. But I still don't like how that truss is squished, so I'm giving it a 9. I recall something being said about this is a temporary overbridge. You know what? Is this a telling me how the truss is actually squished? I thought I was going to be on to explain this stuff. No, I did that once, and that was a mistake. Bible. I am late for a thing. I'm late to pick somebody up from work. Do not poke me unless you need to poke me. Composition. I mean, this is framed up really well. I mean, I can't really complain about this except for the fact that the corner of the bridge is taken off. And I've been complaining about that all night. So I'll give it a 9 because it doesn't deserve a 9. It really doesn't. I think it deserves a 10. But I've been complaining about the corners of things all night long. So, you know what? Yeah. Although I'll give it back in the bonus point for the custom asset. Content. Everything here is really pretty. The only thing that I can see... No, even the rocks look good. Normally the rocks are like low poly and crap, but the rocks look great here. I know that's an RRTK bridge. The coaches... Apparently it's correct. Word of God says the consist is correct. Everything seems really high quality. I can't not give a 10 on content here. Story. A couple of little foibles with the way that it's written, but other than that, it's good. The artsiness doesn't take away from it, but it does induce more possibilities for this accidental repetition, like setting the stage and setting the backdrop. Backdrop is set, stage is set. Yeah, and the missing apostrophes. So, I'll give it a... do I give it a 9 and be generous? No, I'll give it an 8. Oop, I put a slash instead. World. I know this is a real thing. Apparently the dude is a real person. So, how do I not give that a 10? I don't know what the Water Association is, or why they need a bunch of horses. Are they trying to lead... The Water Association guy is leading horses. Isn't there a saying about that? Someone should tell him to let the damn horses go. Whatever, here's a 10. Completeness. Way by the River Pensifan. Yes. You know what? You know what? You know, all these details... You know what, fair enough, you thought you were going to be on. Completeness 10. I get another DM? What do you people want? They're working on canals in the area. Sure they were. I get another one. Nice stream, dude, says the illegal. Thank you. Okay, let's do math. 8 plus 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 10 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 2. It's an 86. I think this thing is punching under, but as far as where it stands in the hierarchy here, I think it did pretty well for itself. It's a really good screenshot. Okay, last one. Delete the response. It cannot be undone. We're going to copy this over one last time. Oh, wait a minute. No, he deserves one more point. Doesn't he? Yeah, he deserves one more bonus point. And I'm sorry if anyone takes issue with certain judging. The last one is the New Haven one. Island Hopping by Raillord. Why does... Okay. Alright. 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 Island Hopping. So let's copy this in. By Mr. Wait a minute, what? Oh, it is the same person. I always forget that. That always mixes me up. By Guy the Wise. We're going to copy this in. Oh, and it even has a header. The caption has a header. That's cool. And now I've seen this one a few times, but I'm going to try to imagine I'm seeing it for the first time. Wow, those blues pop. And that's an old model. And man, that's a mismatch of cars. Holy cow. This is not a very long train for what this is. And what is this second car in? It looks like a hopper. Oh, is it in a Railway Express agency? Like baggage car, something. It's a long bridge. Cool, though. I like the shot. With the Islander's normal F7AB pair stuck in the shops, the DL109s continue their regime on the Islander. That's repetition. Still to hit with the rail fans, the likelihood of the pair being occasionally rostered to the Islander after the F7s re-enter service grow higher. Crews rostered to the twins have been colorfully voicing their feelings about not only the twins themselves now, but also having them on the Islander. I recently renewed my license and bought a drone. Still wary of the Lazare Harbor after last time I went there, I decided to shoot this photo from the other side of St. Planard Viaduct. Still no explanation on what caused that ominous presence, though. I'm here for trains, not the spooks. What the heck? Oh well, as long as I stay out of there, I should be fine. Gotta say, this is some great range. Nothing really interesting is happening outside of the temporary mode of power change, just normal services and some summer dazing. The local community colleges don't offer summer courses for some reason, except for that incident in May. This has turned out to be a nice summer. I really don't want this to end. Why is it written like that? I feel like there are three completely different... Oops, I closed out the picture. Three completely different posts here that are just layered on top of one another. What was that about spooky something or other? Alright, there's got to be something about this in the technical notes. This actual part of Western work in progress route, Western and Pacific route. Shot outside of Lazare, which is just a minute or two out of the Seaside Refuge Hotel's halt. Assets used are primarily DRLS, aside from a few reskins, these being the blank express boxcar, yellow Bud passenger cars on the tail, and the faux stainless Osgood Bradleys. To be honest, I was kind of hoping for more, well, American brick bridge, but I had to use FMA assets. Okay. It's a pretty screenshot, but my brain is twisting in knots because of the thing. For impact, I'm going to give this a 8. Creativity. Oh, it's definitely creative. There's a lot going on here. There is some backstory. That better not be rain. My car windows are wide open. Everyone hold tight. Okay, so this has been fun. I'm all wet now. Where's the stream chat? Including the notes, the phantom image in the server, the one with the phantom train. It's stop it. Stop. I'm doing a stream. Don't give me a hickey on stream. If someone, what is this? It's a forum post. I'm going to feature the harbor would ruin the shot. Okay, well, whatever. Creativity. I see what you were trying to do here. It's just, man, I don't know what's going on here. Well, definitely creative. I'll just give it an 8 and move on. Construction. It's a very well put together shot. The way the bridge is, I know it's not exactly what you would have wanted. Again, it's mostly water, but at least you've got this island in the background, which looks pretty good. I would have sprung for like some houses. If this is modern, I feel like it's tough to find untouched shoreline like this. But otherwise, I suppose I'll give this a 9 for the construction. Composition. I mean, honestly, I can't find anything wrong with this composition. It came out top notch. Content. So there's some old stuff here. I think I'm going to give you a 7 for content, just because. And I know there are no 109s, like, available. And it was just that. Now the rain's over. But, yeah, some of the stuff is really old. And the mismatch you've got on the train is kind of neat, but I don't know how real that is. The story is cool, but I don't know what the heck is going on. And I know you just tried to explain it in the comments over here, but oh man, what an end to the stream, guys. So as much as I like the story, I can't like give it a good score because I cannot piece together the different ideas that are coming in here. I really appreciate. You know what? I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a 7, and that is generous. But the points there are coming from the fact that you've got the header on it, which I think is very cool. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here. World. I don't know what's going on with this consist. There's a drone, it's modern, it's old, this F7's being replaced with 109s for some reason. I don't know, I'm really scratching my head here. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to give it a 6. And that feels generous. I feel like there isn't a coherent... I'm not getting a coherent picture of what the world is. Cat just walked in. As for relevancy, that's an easy 10. Completeness, that's also an easy 10, because island hopping, right? Yeah. Island hopping, Railord. I mean, absolutely keep working on the route. The thing that just took me away from this is I'm just so confused about what's going on, what's real here. As for a bonus, though, I will definitely give a bonus point on the fact that I have a soft spot for the 109s. And yeah, that's about it. All right, let's do some math here. Yeah, no, I get that it's preservation. It just, I don't get the context of the preservation. It doesn't seem... I feel like I don't have the full picture, and I feel like the pieces that I'm missing are really important to making this screenshot seem realistic. Apparently, based on the score, though, it's still more realistic than Japanese winning World War II, so... Or the Axis, I suppose. So you know, take that with what you will. 9, 10, 7, 7, 6, 10, 10, 1. It's a 76. Everybody got good scores here. There's not a bad screenshot in this competition. I really do appreciate the work everybody put in 2 weeks we'll be having another one. I'll do the announcement on that shortly. I need to finish settling my computer down a little bit. It's missing pieces. Yeah. Start writing down your backstory, just getting it down on paper, and then see if you can make it coherent. I've been, building my Tolbrand stuff for a long time. But anyway, I'd like to thank everyone for coming onto this stream here, for listening to this, for your submissions. Thank you, Matt, for the Climb to Power. Thank you, Conrail Fan, for a fading era. Thank you, Eastbound and Down, for Old Milwaukee Stride. Thank you, K-Master, for Powder City. Thank you, Wybold, for There Were Two Bridges in This Voting, and congratulations on tying for the win. Thank you, Brian, for A Rainy Day in May. Thank you, Bender, for What Could Be, and thank you, East, for The March of Japan. Thank you, Pairs Nicely with a Good Imagination. Or thank you, Ryan, for Pairs Nicely with a Good Imagination. And also congratulations on tying for the win. Thank you, Tyler, and yeah, I do think you get another point, because I neglected one, somebody mentioned it, and I got another ping. What is it now? What did I do now? Oh, it's a ping in the thing. Wait a minute, where did the ping go? Alright, I don't know what I pinged. Anyway, I was saying, thank you. It's still there. It shows me I have a ping, but I don't know where, and I cannot find it. Is it down to the bottom of this? Yes. What is it referring to? Oh, okay. So there is more that it's attached to. I will have to take a look at that later. And thank you, Guy, for your submission, Island Hopping. I will see you again in a couple of weeks. The thunder has begun to roll in. I hope I don't lose power. It was... don't forget your guaranteed connection. Where did the ping go? Ryan definitely deserves a lot of cred. But there, again, wasn't a screenshot here that was disappointing. Thank you guys so much for making this competition a reality, and I'm looking forward to doing it again in a couple of weeks. This is the Admiral. I need to find the button.